Zdravo, and welcome to this Eurovision reaction and review. We are looking at the Serbian entry for Junior Eurovision 2017. This entry is sung by Irina Brodиć and Јana Paunovиć. The song is called Svет je naš, which translates to The Whole World is Ours. Now, I don't know what this song's on about. I would honestly like to jump right in. But first, this was part of a national final. I believe it was all jury vote. And this song won over two other songs. Let's have a listen. Oh, they were lying down before. That's relatable. I don't know why, but this entry reminds me of for some reason it reminds me of like a different version of Montenegro 2014 Junior. It's exactly the kind of, I don't know. This entry would make a lot more sense if they were wandering around a theatre set. Like, that's the kind of reaction that I get from this. I'm fairly sure this is also the studio version. The lyrics seem too clean. Like, and there's no audience sound in it. In short, it's this kind of kid duet. In long, I guess it's exactly the kind of thing that you'd expect in a piece of musical theatre that features children. It's almost like an adult's interpretation of what children would listen to, which to me makes it feel a little bit disgenuine to Irina and Jana themselves, because in my experience children don't necessarily like this genre of music. But then again, I don't really know that many children that are, 12, 13 in the year 2017. I mean, I could use my sister as an example, but I don't really think she listens to much music that's not on the radio, that's not on rap radio either. Like, just to generalize my sister's taste in music for a second there, I'm kind of struggling to see if audiences are going to connect with this one potentially. But yeah, that's just my preliminary opinion. Let's have a look at what I think about when I do a proper review. I'm liking it as it's on, but I'm struggling to consolidate the melody or any of it. Oh, this is a case of they start playing the instruments in the backing track before they play the instruments. Now I'm starting to think just exactly how much am I actually enjoying this song. Especially listening to it back to back to back, basically. I'm gonna start with what I like about it. I feel like that particularly strongly, there was a lot of really good chemistry coming from Irina and Jana. The way that they moved on stage in synchronization, that was pretty overwhelmingly good in my opinion. I just think the way that, these two people that are on stage together, it feels like they're friends. And personally, I much prefer it when I feel like the people on stage would actually talk to each other. That's just a personal thing of mine. I just feel like whenever the chemistry is there, that is a solid foundation for points, much less, everything else. So the chemistry between the singers, that's a really, really important element. And because obviously they were doing this on TV and you could sense that they were friends, then there's this whole feeling of, well, if you can do that on national TV, you can do that on international TV. And international TV is arguably where it's more important. I feel like this particular number is going to ignite passion from some of the more adult members of the audience and the adult jurors, the people who would like to think of children's music as this kind of music. I will get onto that later. And just finally, I wanted to point out that there was not like a word of English in that song. And to be honest, I do like it when there's not a word of English. Like, it's refreshing. Like, I kind of wish that more participants would not use the English language. I'm getting sick of hearing my own language at Junior Eurovision, as I think the countries that use English in Junior Eurovision to the maximum limit, which has been raised this year, let me not let you forget that. People can use 40% of any language that's not a national language. Most people go for English because, you know, connecting with, like, everyone. Dislikes. This sounds kind of like what adults probably think children like. It doesn't necessarily sound like the kind of music that I think that these children that are involved in this particular song actually want to sing. I mean, it could be. And here's one of the murky lines when it comes to Junior. You don't know what the difference between what they've been told to sing and what they really want to sing is. And so sometimes you get these really, really classic inspired songs that fit the person perfectly. And sometimes you get these songs that don't fit what the person wants to do, but fits, like, this adult idea of what children want to sing. And it just feels like this song goes towards the latter, where it's kind of like, well, the children want to hear people do fun friendship duets, you know? It's one of those weird lines that at Junior Eurovision, ever since adult composers have been allowed to compose a song, you kind of get this line of, well, who knows where the actual intention is. What I would really like to stress, and this is one of my major dislikes, is this song sounds like the kind of song that at Junior Eurovision gets played between two of the heavy-hitting favourites. Not to particularly drag this song or anything, it's just that the voters at Junior Eurovision don't always go for this kind of song. Especially depending on where it is in the running order, which we will know in approximately 3 weeks from when I'm filming this, so I cannot comment on that quite yet. All I can do is comment in comparison to the other songs that we have so far, and this is one of my pet peeves. But when people play instruments in the staging, can we at least have them over at the instrument before the instrument starts in the backing track? There was a clear 3 or 4 second delay before either Irina or Jana, and I'm not sure which one is which, by the way, before either of them reach the piano or the cello. Like, I don't know how many times I said this throughout the Senior Eurovision season last year. I think that the main time I said it was Spain, and Belarus in the national final, but please don't stop playing an instrument, or please don't start playing an instrument late, or please, if you're going to mime an instrument, look like you're miming the instrument that, you know, is on the track. Don't, if you've got a keyboard, don't just press random keys. That looks tacky and it looks extremely fake. So yeah, this is more a point to the adult people who are informing the performance layout itself. Please have the instruments close enough to where Irina and Jana finish the second chorus so that they can get over there before the instruments start. But that's a me thing. If you have an opinion, please feel free to tweet it to @WeAreEurovision. So, what is my placing prediction for this song? Well, at the current point in time, with, you know, no information like running order to see where exactly this is, with this being my 5th song, I can't exactly say, oh yeah, the rest of the pack is better or worse than this. But going on an average Junior Eurovision year, I would have to say that this song is coming like 13th out of 16. It's not that it's necessarily a bad song. It's just not a song that traditionally does well at Junior Eurovision. So we'll have to wait for the running order, as I keep stressing, to see exactly where this sits. In terms of my scoring, so the first listen I gave this a 6 out of 10. The second listen I gave this another 6 out of 10. And the third listen I gave this a 5 out of 10, leaving it with the overall score of 6 out of 10. I kind of wish that I could have given this song more. But at the same point in time, I'm not the kind of person that is like, you're a child, you deserve 12 points. Because at the end of the day, this is a contest, and as sad as that kind of sounds, I'm not necessarily going to say that everyone in this particular contest excites me as a piece of music or as a musician. So obviously I'm treating this more like I would with adults, but I'm just not commenting on a couple of things that I would necessarily comment on when it comes to adults. Thank you very much for watching this video, and nadam this.